Right, I got a little more time, so I'm going to read a little bit more from How I Lost 100 Pounds in 100 Days. My best friend was my worst enemy. You know that old saying, keep your friends close and your enemies closer? Yeah, well, I guess I didn't quite pay attention to the true meaning of that. Because I didn't know that was exactly what I was doing for well over a decade of my life. For many years, my best friend in the world was alcohol. I drank like clockwork, 7 days a week, for years. I started drinking whatever I could in my early teens, as many people do. And at 16, 17 years old, I would guess that I drank more than the average teen, who just gets wasted every now and then when they can get someone to buy them alcohol. I would have been an everyday drinker at 16 if I had the alcohol connection to get it on a daily basis. But I did drink a lot for an underage kid, and could always drink like a grown man who had years of drinking experience. I am more of a natural-born lush than a drunk or an alcoholic, even though I suppose I am still an alcoholic, but I can steadily drink for all hours of the day and maintain function. I can drink from morning till night regularly if I chose to, even though I have been wasted out of my mind several hundred times in my life. I have been in the hospital for alcohol poisoning several times. Some were worse than others. A few of those hospital trips were after some serious drinking that would kill the average non-alcoholic person. If I told you how much I drank those times, you would not even believe me. The only people who understand drinking on that level are the ones who can also drink on that level. By the time I was 18, I would say that I was pretty much an everyday lush drinker. At least 90% of the days in the year I would drink until I was 21, which for sure I was an 8-day-a-week drinker from then on, until my mid to late 30s even. Mid-30s. At 41 now, I'm 42 now, but this is 41, I'm still not really that many years away from drinking like a fish each and every day. It wasn't that many years. I was in my 30s when I stopped drinking. I don't really remember exactly when it was that I stopped drinking completely, but I would guess that it has been around only 3 or 4 years or so that I had my last drink. And I was tapering down my daily minimum requirements in order to maintain even keel for a couple of years before that, but I didn't always follow my own tapering down protocol. Will I ever drink again? I don't know, but I don't really want to, at least at this time in my life. I don't need it, nor do I miss it. Can I have just 2 or 3 beers now? Yeah, I could enjoy a couple of really good, like a microbrew. I love beer, and I love, ales, IPAs, stouts. I like good beers. I even made my own beer at times in my life. It was fun. Those types of drinks were not my best friend. My best friend was cheap beer that comes in 18 and 30 packs, and hard liquors, whiskeys, stuff like that. I was never really a belligerent drunk, even though, of course, I had my moments. But that is not the norm. I would use alcohol to maintain homeostasis. I could have very easily been an everyday drinker for 15, 20 years straight. That's saying, that was like 15, 20 years straight. Wow. I'm just doing the math in my head right now, and if I was drinking on a daily basis from 18, and I didn't stop until just a few years ago, at about 38, that would be 2 decades of drinking. 38 was probably about when I last had a drink, but I was tapering it down. I was still drinking regularly up until about just a handful of years ago. I think I sometimes like to act as if I wasn't. But when I think about it, I was drinking something every day, just not anywhere near as much as I was in my 20s and early 30s. And also a better quality of alcohol than I did in my 20s and early 30s. I downplay my alcoholic tendencies. Like I downplay a lot of things, like I do that. I always have. I am a lush by nature and can drink from sun up to sun up. Well, not right now I can't. But I'd probably die if I tried to do that right now. But in my 20s, I had many of those 24 plus hour drinking days. And many of them were all by myself. Yes, I can drink alone, which I have heard is worse somehow. I actually prefer to drink alone. So now that I have kind of thought of my past drinking life right in front of your eyes here, I just kind of wrote that. This is all just off the top of my head. I should probably ask myself that question again. Will I ever have a drink or 3 ever again in my life? And the honest answer is still I don't know. But I lean hard towards I probably shouldn't, just to be on the safe side. Like I said, I was a functioning lush, not a drunk. I was the type that could have 20 beers in my system and still carry on a conversation with you, and you not really have a clue that I was legally drunk. A typical weekday for me in my 20s was to go to work, go to the gym after work, maybe play some basketball at the park or another gym after weight training, until whenever we stop a few nights a week, then pound my minimum beer requirements in order for me to have, for me to go to sleep. On nights I didn't play basketball, I would begin drinking immediately after the gym as like my post-workout. That would be after I'm done, I'm drinking. Sometimes it was also my pre-workout too. And days off of work, I could drink from the time I woke up if I wanted to whenever. And sometimes I did. Sometimes I didn't. But I always made sure to get in my alcohol requirements that my brain was telling me to before I passed myself out. So I had like a minimum of my alcohol that I needed in my system to go to sleep. How much time do I got? Okay. If I was playing basketball all night until 11 and I couldn't start seriously drinking until 11:30, I would just pound my beers faster and make up for that time that I missed. I would go to sleep later if I had to. So I had to wake up early, sometimes 4 a.m. even. If I had to stay up until 2 a.m. to get my body's requirements of alcohol, I would do that and sleep for a couple of hours, and sleep was not important to me. So no matter what my schedule in life was on any particular day, I made sure that I would meet my minimum alcohol requirements before I went to sleep. I had a minimum with no maximum, but that minimum had to be met each night. And it wasn't necessarily a number of drinks that was my minimum. It was more about me finding homeostasis inside of my body. So it was the alcohol levels in my bloodstream that I had to get to a certain point at minimum. And this was every single day for years and years and years and years. I was able to stay in both physical shape and cardiovascular shape for many years doing this too. I'm somewhat of a freak like that, which is mind-boggling to me right now at this point. It wasn't until I got into my later 20s that I started to really let myself go off the edges. And like I said earlier, I was lucky to have my little brother give me the final shove off that edge to break my own spell that I had to put on myself. When I had this fork in the road moment and was finally going to get myself back into what I thought was good health at that time, I had no intentions of quitting my daily drinking. I had no intentions at all of quitting. That did not even cross my mind at that time. So I was going to lose 100 pounds while still drinking like a fish each and every single day. That was my plan. And guess what? I did lose 100 pounds while still drinking like a fish each and every single day. I lost 100 pounds in 100 days while drinking 18-pack to a 30-pack of beer a day. Okay, so I'll stop it there. And this is free in ebook. So if you're watching this from an ad, subscribe to this channel, click down in the description, go to my website, see what I have on my website, and also I have some free ebooks inside of the description that you can click the links to. So enjoy your day.